In this video, we're going to be replacing the front bumper on this 2011 Honda Odyssey. All right, so we're going to remove our air intake here. We have two push clips. We have one here, one here. We're going to use our panel tool to remove our clips. With these clips set aside, we should be able to remove our intake tube here. It's going to seat in to the back section and just pull it straight out, and we can set this aside. Our top trim panel here is held in by a few push clips. We'll start down this end. She's going to use a panel tool, pop these clips up. All right, we've been using this little pocket here to hold all our clips. We'll take our clips out now. And we can remove our top panel and set that aside. All right, so now underneath our top panel here, we have our grill and the bracket holding our grill on to the metal here. It's going to be a 10mm bolt. And one all the way across the other side, the edge of your grill. Another 10mm bolt. Now our grill is free. Okay, now we're at the front wheel well area of our bumper. You can see we have 2 Phillips screws, and then across the bottom we're going to have some clips and bolts to remove. We're going to start in the wheel well with these 2 Phillips. And the same thing on the other side, 2 Phillips. Okay, so underneath the bumper now, you can see we have some 10mm bolts, some push clips, all the way across here, all the way down to the other side. What we're going to do now is we're going to start with our panel tool and remove our push clips first. We're going to walk across the entire length of the bumper and take out all the push clips. Well, here we have a couple of push clip or bolts missing here, mismatched. Yours might be slightly different. Our car has definitely had a few things replaced on it. Now from here, we're going to start with our 10mm bolts all the way across. Take those out. This is how your bolts should be coming out from down here. You should have the bolt coming out and the capture nut staying in place on the inside. Okay, so because most of our bolts didn't come out down here, it means we're still attached to this splash shield here. So what we're going to do is actually take out this splash shield as well, since it is still attached to our bumper. And I have these clips that are into this splash shield that you're going to need to remove. So we're just going to use our panel tool and separate the two pieces here. Okay. Now, even though these bolts didn't come out and they just spin, we now have this piece that comes out along with it, so we can leave those bolts in. They are still supposed to be attached here. You'll have these clips that are supposed to be in here, but they're actually rusted to the back of our bolts. So if you have this issue, this is probably what you're dealing with here. All right, here we are on the passenger side where our bumper meets the fender. What we're going to do is get a little grip in behind the bumper edge here, closer to the fender than the bottom, and we're going to pull straight away from the vehicle. I'm going to do that in a strong, fast motion, and we're going to remove it from these clips up here and in the top or the bottom of our fender. Once we do that, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Go ahead and get yourself a good grip on the back and pull away fast. And again, removing it from these clips here. At this point, your bumper is off all the way up to about here. If you're working by yourself, try and keep one side of the bumper in place while you work the other side. If you have two people, you can have one person on one side, one person on the other. The idea here is to work the bumper off, and underneath here, there are going to be some clips under the headlight that you're going to have to pull out of. You can see here. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, we opened a gap here, so we're going to use that and pull away. If you can do this, it should be held in by one clip right here at the edge on both sides. Once you get to that point, you can grab it from the center and pull the bumper straight back and away. All right, to remove our grille, we have a couple of push clips here, one on each side. We'll start with this one. Because we're in this position, we can actually push the clip out from the bottom side. And we can do the same to the other side. Now our grille is mostly free. We're going to have to separate our grille from the bumper. You can see here if we push apart. And across the bottom here, there's some locking tabs, locking plastic tabs. Okay, so if you see, right here, this is what we need to accomplish. We're going to have to move that center piece out, away from the grille. We're just using a panel tool and some upward pressure. What you can also do is maybe a small flathead screwdriver, pocket screwdriver. and pull up and separate your grill. So we're going to remove the bottom grill portion here. Sometimes there are areas where you can just grab and lift up and it'll already separate itself. Sometimes you need a little bit of help. Small flathead screwdriver and a little upward pressure. Okay, so this whole side is free. Now we'll work on the front side. All right, so we have pretty much the same thing on this side. Just going to separate those clips and pieces. All right, so we're using a hook tool here. Get in behind this clip, pry it away. And with this hand, lift up. Pry away. Lift up. Just repeat that process for all these clips. Some of them will go by themselves. And with that, you have your bottom grill removed. All right, so we have in this vehicle on this bumper fog light covers. If you have fog lights, you'll go ahead and remove those. In our case, we have fog light covers. So we're going to use a small flat blade pocket screwdriver, pop these clips out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, so with one hand in the corner here, we're just going to put downward pressure on the fog light cover. And with our other hand and a pocket screwdriver, we're going to push these clips in. And you'll hit a point where you can almost pull it out. And it should be stuck with one clip in the back. We can rotate that right out and take out your fog light cover. Your bumper will not come with this splash shield piece in place. On our bumper, these bolts are actually frozen to these speed nuts here. So we will not be able to remove these. We're going to try some heat. We're going to try a few options to get these free, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to break these free. But when you receive your bumper, it will not have this piece on it. Our license plate bracket also has two 10mm bolts. We're going to use the 10mm socket. All right, and there's your bracket. So we're going to install our fog light covers. All right, they're going to go in from the front. They're going to press straight up. If you can align your clips up, mainly your back clip here, and you can just push upwards. The rest of your clips should line up. Same thing on this side. What we're going to do is line up our back clip, push that in to clip, and then we'll line up our two front clips here. You may have to just kind of pull them or push them slightly to line them up with the slots. And then just push or squeeze into position. And then the middle two on each side, we'll just push straight up from the front side. All right, now we can install our lower grill. We're going to lower this into position. What we're going to look for is on each side there'll be two tabs We're going to try and locate those the best we can at first. And then we're going to take a look here through each of these clips and make sure we're within reason. We want to make sure our clips are on the inside of here, all the way across. And we're going to push down. And push down at the end, the middle, and at the end. All right, so that's one side. Your other side should have located pretty closely during all of that. We can come back now and push down that side. And our last two clips on each side here. All right, make sure these clips are in. Okay, now we can move on to reinstalling our grille. Okay, so here's our grille. These bumper tabs are going to go inside the slot on your grille. So we can slide the grille onto those, both left and right. And then we can locate our plastic tabs on the bumper to the grille. Once we're in all the way across, we can push them together until they lock. And then to finish off the install of our grille, we can put our push clips back in place. Push to lock. And push to lock. All right, to install your license plate bracket, we're going to use these two holes here. Your bumper may or may not have holes already punched in them. If they don't, you should have little divots where the holes should go. Just line up your license plate bracket, grab your 10 mil bolts, and thread them in. Because this is plastic and there's no backer on here, you do not want to spin these forever. You'll strip out the plastic. So just snug them up. You're done. Okay. We are going to reinstall our bumper. We want to raise our bumper into position. We want to kind of get these lined up with our headlight bracket. If you're working by yourself, lining these up first will help you. This gap here is going to be nice and tight like it is here. We're going to push in right here and set that side in. All right, now on the passenger side here, we're going to align our headlight in the same way. Get that into position, and we're going to pop that in underneath the headlight. You'll only be able to get to a certain point because we now need to get our bumper to fender on the brackets here. So what we can do now is grab the bumper and pull it up to the fender, up and over where it needs to sit in. And push it in. And we do the same thing on the other side. Inside our fender well here, we have to put in our 2 Phillips screws. You can see our fender liner is on the outside. It needs to be on the inside. So we're just going to use a panel tool and see if we can get our fender liner on the inside. So this piece here on the top is going to go between the bumper and the bumper bracket. All right, so we're going to pull open the bumper slightly here. See if we can get our fender liner in there. And then get our bumper to go back on over it. Okay, now we can reinstall our 2 Phillips screws. Just going to tuck this in. And we can do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we're going to reinstall some of our push clips. We also, down here, our bolts were seized and broken. So at this point, if your bolts came out, you're going to want to put them back in also. We just have a couple of push clips to reinstall. Work your way across and put in your clips and bolts now. Okay, so back up top now, we can put our 2 bolts in for our grill. Again, these are our 10 mil bolts. Okay, so now we can install our top trim piece and our plastic clips. You have one here, and then what you have here is your intake tube. Slide the back half of your intake tube into position, lower down your front, put in your 2 plastic clips here.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.